Okay, so if you are on Canvas, you're going to be looking at this document here. It's Mouse Chapter 5, Part 2. It's under Assignments. Let's see. It's under Assignments, and you're going to scroll down, and you guys are going to see it here on the Google Doc part, just like the other days that we've done. I am going to be looking at it on my Google Doc here just because it's easier for me to see, but that's how you guys will find it. Go ahead and click to open the document. We are going to be finishing Chapter 5 today. And then next week, we will finish the book with Chapter 6 on Monday and Wednesday. We're going to scroll all the way down to page 109 is where we left off. Hold on, somebody's messaging me on Remind. Yeah, people are still getting error messages on Zoom. I'm not sure why it's not working for people. Okay, so we are going to pick up from here. They they sent away their son, Raishu, to be with some friends of the family. And we find out that the Nazi soldiers come for them. And remember, this lady that's been taking care of their son for them, supposed to be in a safer part of the country. But when she finds out the Nazis are coming, she says, I'm not going to let these children or myself go to the gas chambers. So she takes the poison that she has around her neck and she ends up killing them so that they don't suffer that tragedy at the hands of the Nazi soldiers. So we are going to pick up at the bottom. It says, I'm telling you, it was a tragedy among tragedies. He was such a happy, beautiful boy. And again, this is Vladek talking to Artie about their other son that passed away during the war. Did Tosha's husband survive? No. On the train to Auschwitz, he tried to escape and they shot him. Hardly any survived. But these things we learned only much later. In our bunkers, we heard only rumors. Your bunkers? Yes, we had in Strodula to make for ourselves bunkers or places to hide. The Germans started to grab out anybody, if he had papers or no. Therefore, I arranged for us a very good hiding spot in our cellar where there was coal storage. Show to me your pencil and I can explain it to you. Such things, it's good to know exactly how it was, just in case. I'm going to scroll down here. So he kind of sketches this picture here of what it looked like in their bunker for them to hide. So they've got what looks like a coal bin, but they're hiding underneath it. And that's where they're staying so that the Nazi soldiers hopefully wouldn't be able to see them because of that. So in the kitchen was a coal cabinet, maybe 4 feet wide. Inside, I made a hole to go down into the cellar. And there we made a brick wall filled high with coal. Behind this wall, we could be a little bit safe. So yeah, imagine having to hide so that you don't get taken and having to hide like outside, basically underneath this coal bin here. It's cold. There's obviously no heating and a very, very small space for you and your family. That's what a lot of Jewish people had to do back then. Even when they came with the dogs to smell us out and they knew that Jews were laying here, they still couldn't find. Again, this is them hiding underneath even while the dogs are searching up above. The dogs ran up and down like mad, but in the coal bin was only coal. It looked full and they couldn't lift it. And the cellar was only a cellar. Is it safe to go out yet? I can't stand all these worms crawling over me. The Germans are leaving. We had worms there in that bunker. We've got enough food to stay here a couple of days. We better wait until things die down. We survived there a few actions, but others that didn't have such a good place like what I made, they kept being taken away. Then in June, they arrested Monik Marin and all of the other highest big shots of the Judenrat, the Jewish Council. Around this time, we were put into a different house. Here also, we made a bunker. By the end of July, the Nazis made to liquidate completely our ghetto. It was 10,000 Jews taken away in 1 week. By liquidate here, they're basically saying to get rid of all of the Jews. They're trying to close down the ghetto and take all of the Jews out to the concentration camps at this time. So a lot of these families had to create these hiding places so they didn't get taken. Except to sneak for food, we stayed mostly in the bunker. Lolik, thank God you're safe. It's like a battlefield outside. There's hardly anyone left in Strodula. Everyone has been deported or shot. And again, deported means to be taken away. From all of the Jews of all Sosnowiec, it was left maybe 1,000 in the ghetto. At least your bag is full. You found a lot of food, yes? Just a few old turnips and some books. Books? What's the matter with you? We can't eat books. All the time we were hungry. We just didn't have what to eat. One night we went to sneak for food. Look, a stranger. We dragged him up to our bunker. What are you doing here? I didn't know anyone lived here. I just stopped to rest a moment. My wife and I have a starving baby. I was out hunting for scraps. He's lying. He may be an informer. The safest thing would be to kill him. What had we to do? We took in him pity. In the morning, we gave a little food to him and left him to go to his family. Judenraus. The Gestapo came that afternoon. So here we can make the inference that this guy that they've helped to save actually ratted them out and told the Nazi place where they were hiding. They took us to a building in a part of Strodula separated by wires, a ghetto inside the ghetto, and there we had to sit and to wait. We were maybe 200 people together waiting. Each Wednesday went vans to Auschwitz. When we were caught, it was then maybe a Thursday. Look, Anya, that's my cousin, Yakov Spiegelman, in the courtyard. Hey, Yakov, help us. Yakov. Vladek, there's nothing I can do. I made signs to show that I could pay him. Some gold I hid in the chimney of our bunker when they took us, but few valuables I had still with me. Okay, don't worry, Haskell will come help you. Haskell Spiegelman was another cousin. So notice earlier he says here, like, I can't help you, there's nothing I can do. And then as soon as he shows him some gold or some payment, immediately he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna send somebody to help you. So we see how much that still matters here in the valuables. Wouldn't they have helped you even if you couldn't pay? I mean, you were from the same family. Ha, you don't understand. At that time, it wasn't any more families. It was everybody to take care for himself. We're on page 115. The next day came in two girls carrying food. Two girls carrying food. With them came Haskell, a chief of the Jewish police. Look, Vladek, I can get you and your wife out, even your nephew. But your in-laws are too old. They'll never get past the guards. Please, we'll make it worth your while. The two girls he sent back to the kitchen. Quick, boy, grab this empty pail and carry it out with me. From the window, we saw Lolik go. My God, Vladek, you must get Madka and me out too. Give your cousin this gold watch, this diamond, anything. Of course, I'll do everything I can. The day after, Anya and I carried past the guards the empty pails. Haskell took from me father-in-law's jewels, but finally, he didn't help them. On Wednesday, the vans came. Anya and I saw her father at the window. He was tearing his hair and crying. He was a millionaire, but even this didn't save his life. So we see that Anya and Vladek are able to get away, and this guy who has been helping them says he's going to come back for them, but he never comes back for her father, and they end up getting stuck there and getting taken. 116. So mom's parents died in Auschwitz? No, what else? Right away, they went to the gas. Haskell was happy to take from father-in-law the jewels, but the risk to save them, this he was not so happy to take. Always Haskell was such a guy, a combinator. A what? A guy what makes kombinacja, a schemer, a crook. What did you pick up? Telephone wire. That's very hard to find. And again, this is during like the current time. This isn't a flashback. Inside there's little wires. It's good for tying things. You always pick up trash. Can't you just buy new wire? Psh, why always do you want to buy when you can find? Anyway, this wire, they don't have it in any stores. I'll give to you some wire. You'll see how useful it is. No, thanks. Just tell me what happened with Haskell. There are only about 1,000 Jews left here. Most work at the bronze shoe shop. Haskell was a very big man in the ghetto then when Strodula was finishing. I'll register you both there, and good afternoon, Sergeant. How are you, Herr Spiegelman? Haskell played very often cards with the Gestapo. We'll see you tonight, yes? Naturally. I just hope you won't be as lucky as last time. He lost to them big amounts of money, so they would like him. So this guy Haskell, just to clarify again, is their cousin, and he's helping them out because they're paying him. And you see that this guy Haskell, who is their cousin, he's also sort of friends with the Nazi soldiers, but in the sense that he plays poker with them, he plays cards with them, but he intentionally loses to them so that the Nazis will take his money and that they can like stay friends. So again, this idea that even though the Nazi soldiers are hanging out with and fraternizing with some people that are Jewish, it's because they're ultimately taking their money and using them. So keep that in mind as we go. Page 117. Milak, take care of cousin Vladek. Gladly. Haskell had two brothers, Pesach and Milak. Pesach was also a combinator, but Milak, he was a fine fellow. Ben here can show you how to resole the German boots. We'll reserve this workbench for you. You don't have to sit here all the time, but whenever the German commission comes to inspect, just sit there and look busy. From time to time, I had other jobs also to do around the ghetto. Yes, this reminds me of something now. Remember the guy that I told you got us out of our bunker? Well, you know, I buried him. Hey, this is the rat that turned my family over to the Gestapo. He was shot. Haskell had arranged that he would be killed. But if he's dead, why are his eyes still wide open? He was struggling to survive. It happened that I was on the work detail, so I buried him. Haskell is alive still in Poland with a Polish woman, a judge, but kept him hidden when, my heart, Artie, quick, take from my pocket a nitrostat pill. Here, are you okay? I'll be fine now. I have only to catch my breath still for a minute. Yeah, let's sit on that stoop. Just relax, don't talk for a while. I made too fast our walking. Thank God with the nitrostat, it's completely over right now. What was I telling you? Are you sure you're okay? Again, he's talking to his dad, making sure that, we know that his dad has heart problems. You were saying that Haskell survived the war. Yes, even a few years ago, I sent him packages. Gifts? Why? He sounds like a rotten guy. Yes, I don't know why. I know only that I sent. One time I was in the ghetto walking around. Halt, Jew. Give me your ID papers. I'm going to blow your brains out. I see you're a member of the illustrious Spiegelman family. Go on your way then and give Haskell my regards. Such friends Haskell had. Again, we see his cousin who is sort of friends with these Nazi soldiers and is being used by them. Again, kind of gets Vladek out of trouble here. 119. I told Haskell and Milak later about this. You were very lucky, Vladek. They call him the shooter. Every day he kills some poor Jew just for fun. Hey, aren't you going over to Pesach's to buy some cake? Cake? For years we didn't see any cake, hardly even bread we saw. It's impossible. He's joking. Cake. But Cousin Pesach was really selling cake. Everyone that could afford it stood in line to buy a piece. It looks delicious. How did you manage it, Pesach? When people are sent to Auschwitz, my men search their houses. Pesach was like Haskell, part of the Jewish police. They find a little flour here, a few grams of sugar there, and I saved it. He was younger from Haskell, but also a combinator. You know what a cook my Rivka is. Try it. Only 75 zlotys a slice. I had still savings, so I got for Anya and me some cake. But the whole ghetto, we were so sick later, you can't imagine. Some of the flour that Pesach found wasn't really flour, only laundry soap that he put into the cake by mistake. We were all of us sick like dogs. And then this is him and his dad sitting on the steps again. Before the war, Pesach had a resort hotel in Zakopane. In those days, also, he found always schemes. All guests had to pay big Polish taxes, so Pesach took bribes to not register them. But if an inspector came, the guests had to hide themselves away. So keeping in mind, his cousin's definitely a con artist here and uses people for money and what he can get out of them. One time, his wife made not enough desserts to give to everybody, so Pesach ran into the dining room and yelled, "Inspectors are coming." There was no inspector, of course, but 40% of the guests ran fast from the room. But Pesach had enough desserts left over even for the next day. Hey guys, I'm not sure whose audio that is. I'm gonna have to mute. Okay, sorry about that. All right, y'all, we're back to here. Making desserts. Oh, are you ready to walk again? Yes, it's too dirty to sit, but really, if I didn't have my nitrostat, it could have been just now something terrible. Milak Spiegelman, he survived the war with his wife and child, and they moved to Australia. About 5 years ago, he had a big heart attack. And last year, he got on the street a seizure, like what I had just now, but he didn't have with him his pills. His wife ran to find a drugstore, and when she came back, Milak was dead. So life goes. But I must finish quick to tell you the rest about Stradula. because we will soon come over to the bank. By the end of 1943, the vans went every Wednesday with more and more and more people from Sudula to Auschwitz until there were very few left. And for those of you who don't have the background, Auschwitz was the largest concentration camp and the one where they did the most killing of the Jews. It could be our turn soon, eh, Vladek? Let's hope not, Milak. Oskar heard that any day now they intended to deport everyone that is still left here. Milak took me to the shoe shop. It was early, and nobody was there. Haskell made plans to smuggle himself out of the ghetto. Pesach and I have a plan also. He moved a few shoes from a pile high in the ceiling, and he took me inside a tunnel. Don't tell anyone about this except Anya and your nephew. It was a tunnel made from shoes. We came out to a bunker. Be prepared to bring them on a moment's notice. Incredible. Everything was ready here so that 15 or 16 people could hide. So this is in the shoe shop where they work, and you can see here's the pile of shoes, and that's the tunnel that they made through to a different bunker, a hiding place in the building. But when Anya and I approached to discuss the bunker with Lolik, no thanks, forget it. But Milak organized everything. I'm sick of hiding. Our nephew was then only 15. He was working as an electrician. Always Lolik was a little meshuga. I'm a skilled worker. Wherever they take me, I'll be okay. You're crazy. You're going to go straight to the ovens. And he did get put onto one of the next transports to Auschwitz. Anya became completely hysterical. The whole family is gone. Grandma and Grandpa, Papa, Mama, Tosha, Bibi, my right shoe. Now they'll take Lolik. It was also around this time that we heard first the bad news from Zaworski about Tosha and Raichu. Oh God, let me die too. Come, Anya, get up. Why are you pulling me, Vladek? Let me alone. I don't want to live. No, darling, to die it is easy, but you have to struggle for life. Until the last moment, we must struggle together. I need you. And you'll see that together we will survive. This always, I told her. So we know that Anya struggles with depression, but on top of that, she just found out her son died along with her parents who just died, and they lost their grandparents. And you can imagine what it would be like for almost everybody you knew in your family, your children, your grandparents, your parents to have been killed, and to still have to live through that with everyone. So even though she struggles with depression, we can see where maybe she would want all of this pain to be over. And Vladek really tries to keep her alive here and telling her that it's more important to struggle through it. 123, got 6 more pages today. The ghetto finished out like Milak said. About 12 from us ran into his bunker with him, his wife, and his 3-year-old baby boy. Gotcha, you've got to keep the baby quiet. I'm hungry. We'll have to keep him under blankets until he calms down. In the bunker, in another part from the shoe shop, lay Pesach and some others. There was nothing to do all day but to lie and to starve. The whole day and night, Anya sat writing in her notebook. There, I've managed to dig a small hole into the stone wall. I can see soldiers. All around there were guards to find any who remained hiding. What little food we had, soon it was gone. I wish I had some bread. I wish I had some bread. I wish. Quiet, we're all starving. At night we sneaked out to look for what to eat, but there was nothing to find. Here, Anya, chew on this. You found food? Never any of us had been so hungry like then. No, it's only a piece of wood, but chewing it feels a little like eating food. After a time, Pesach came over to us from his bunker. Maybe you fools are willing to lie here until you starve to death, but not me. I've contacted one of the guards. It'll cost a fortune, but he's agreed to look the other way. Our group will mix in with the Poles when they walk past Radula on their way to work tomorrow. If you want to chip in, you can come with us. Many from our bunker said yes. Milak and I, we said no to this idea. We didn't trust the Germans. One guy from our bunker, Avram, came to me. He said, tell me when you will go out, Vladek, then I'll know it's safe. He and his girlfriend wanted to pay me to advise them. They had still 2 watches and some diamond rings. I didn't want to take, they needed these to live, so I took only the small watch. The next morning, very early, the group walked out. They gave over the money, and they went past the guard. I stood secret behind a corner. I heard loud shooting, and I did go to see what had happened. I only ran very fast back to our bunker. Only a few of us remained. There haven't been any lights on in the guardhouse for 2 nights. I think it's safe. A little before dawn, we went out from Strudula. They're all gone. The ghetto is empty. Ahead of time, we organized ourselves, good clothes and ID papers. We mixed with the Poles going to work. We'll be hiding at this address. When you find a safe place, try to contact us, Vladek. Good luck, Milak. We all went in different directions. That guy, Avram, his woman had friends to keep them, and the friends kept them until Avram's money finished, and then they were reported. Anya and I didn't have anywhere to go. We walked in the direction of Sosnowiec, but where to go? There was nowhere we had to hide. Can I help you, Mr. Spiegelman? Yes, I have here my son, Artie. I want to sign him a key so he can also go to my safety box. So we're back in the current time with Artie and his dad at the bank. In case anything bad happens to me, you must run right away over here. Therefore, I arranged for you this key. Take everything out from the safe, otherwise it can only go to taxes, or Mala will grab it. Please, Pop. Talking about your estate just makes me uncomfortable. You're now old enough that we must think of these things. Why don't you just enjoy your savings while you still can? I'll keep in my desk your copy of the key. You would only lose it. Look, you see what I have here? The cigarette case and the lady's powder case. It is 14 carats of gold. Uh-huh. These things I had with me then, in Serdula, and the chandelier bunker. Really? How can you possibly still have them? When the Gestapo found us, I dropped quickly a few things into the chimney. If they found the rest of my jewels, at least these might remain. After I came out from the camps in 1945, I sneaked back to Serdula, and at night, while the people inside slept, I dig these things out from the bottom of the chimney. Gosh. You see this diamond? This I gave to Anya when first we came to the US. Even when you were a little boy, Anya wanted that this ring should be for your wife. But if I give it to you, Mala will drive me crazy. She wants everything only for her. And again, that's his second wife. That's Artie's stepmom. She wants that I give nothing for my brother in Israel and nothing for you. 3 times already she made me change my will. Come on, Mala's okay. You only can't know. Even right after my last heart attack, when still I was in bed, she started again about changing the will. I said, Mala, you see how sick I am. Let me have a little bit of peace. What do you want from me? And she screamed, I want the money, the money. Why, Artie, why did I ever remarry? Oh, Anya, Anya, Anya. Easy, Pop, let's go home. All right, and that's the end of chapter 5 there. So we're gonna flip on over to that Google Doc, guys. We have 3 questions today. They are the race strategy. So again, kind of like Monday, I'm gonna go through what the questions are asking because the questions are a little bit tricky. And then if you guys wanna type in your answers into the chat, I can give you feedback and let you know if you got it right or not. So question number 1, what does the incident on pages 118 and 119 tell us about relations between Jews and Germans? Does the knowledge that some Nazis fraternized with their victims make their crimes more or less horrible? So this is a very wordy question, but basically it's asking you to go back to 118 and 119. Okay, so they're talking about his cousin here, Haskell, and how this soldier here lets him go. Give me your ID papers, or I'm going to blow your brains out. And then he says, oh, I see you're a Spiegelman. Go on your way. Give Haskell my regards. So we see here then that this Nazi soldier who is friends with his cousin who is Jewish. And then we see on page 119 as well, we see their other cousin Pesach kind of selling these cakes and selling things illegally on the side. And again, the Nazi soldiers kind of know about it. They just pretend like it doesn't happen as long as they get paid off and as long as they get bribed. So the question is asking us, what do these things show us about some of the relationships between Jews and Germans? And does the fact that these Nazi soldiers spent time with and hung out with some Jewish people, but were also killing others, does that make everything seem worse? The fact that they would spend time playing cards with Haskell, that they would take money from the Jews, that they would help some Jews as long as there was money involved, but they were killing others. Does that make everything seem worse or not? So paying attention to that. Question 2, how did Vladek care for Anya after the destruction of the ghetto? Contrast his behavior toward his first wife during the worst years with the way he treats Mala now. So if we're looking for that, this is when Mala is having a total meltdown here and he's talking her through it. I passed it, sorry. We're scrolling back up to, oh, is somebody trying to talk to me? No. Where is it? If you see it, somebody help me. I'm looking for where Mala is having the breakdown over finding out that their son has been killed. Here we go. Okay. So pages 121, 122 here. Let me die. I don't want to live anymore. She's finding out their son has been killed. Everybody's been killed. And he says, no, darling, to die is easy. You have to struggle for life. Until the last moment, we have to struggle together. I need you. We're going to survive this together. This always, I told her. So him taking care of her, encouraging her, motivating her. So this question here is asking, how did he take care of her after all of that happened? And then how does the way he treats Anya compare to the way he treats Mala, Artie's stepmom, now in the present, his second wife? What is the difference in terms of how he treats them? And then last one, what visual symbol does the author use on page 125? Why do you think he uses that? So if you scroll down to 125, it's kind of hard to catch here, but it's when they're walking to Sosnowiec and they actually make the pathway look like the Nazi swastika here, if you can see it. So it's kind of like they're walking on this Nazi symbol. And he drew that intentionally here. It's not that the paths actually looked like that. He's making it look like they're walking on this Nazi symbol when they don't have anywhere to go, when they don't have a hiding place, when they don't have a home. So why do you think the author of this book drew this Nazi symbol here when they're walking around and don't have anywhere to go, and they're afraid that they're going to get picked up by the Nazi soldiers? So you got the race strategy for all three of those. So those are the explanations for the questions. I'm going to hang around because I know that these questions are tricky today. So I'm going to hang around for the next 15 minutes. While you guys work on those, you can send me your answers in the chat. Just tell me if it's question 1, 2, or 3 that you're sending me. And I can tell you what you're missing, if you need help, if you did a good job, or if you need something a little tweaked or a little fixed there. So, I think everybody is all set. Okay. I will be here while you guys work on that. And you got about 15 minutes before I sign off. So you can send me your answers in the chat box. I know that these questions were confusing. So again, if you need help, feel free to send me a message. Bye, Leighton. Have a good day. Yes, Genesis, you are doing, you guys are doing the race strategy for all three of these questions. So there's no multiple choice today. So R, you're restating the question. A, you're going to answer in your own words. So that's the first sentence. Sentence 2, in the text it says. So all three of your questions today need to have text evidence in the text it says. And then E, this shows or this means. And you guys need that for all three. Yes, Alicia, beautiful job with number 1. That's an excellent answer.